the House of Representatives Committee on Customs and Excise expressed disappointment on Monday over the refusal of heads of government agencies to attend an investigative hearing. Lawmakers criticized the absence, citing Section 8(8) of the Constitution, which empowers Parliament to invite individuals to provide explanations. The investigation focuses on the concession of the e-custom project to the Trade Modernization Project and Web Frontiers' role in the e-custom framework. The committee, alongside the House Committee on Interior, had invited the Minister of Interior, Comptroller General of Customs, Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, and other stakeholders to the investigative hearing on the modernization of the Nigerian Customs Service. The House, at 2 sittings, had ordered the committees to investigate it and the modernization project, like we stated, and the Nigerian Customs Service, and the role of Web Frontiers in the custom framework, as well as the need to employ modern technology to secure Nigerians' borders and address the challenges posed by illegal migration and border management. However, while the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, was said to be out of the country and could not attend the session with the lawmakers, no reason was given for the absence of the customs boss and his immigration counterparts. A member of the Committee on Customs, Awaji Ihombek Abiete, PDP Rivers, said the refusal of the head of agencies was an affront on the Parliament, adding that if they refuse to show on the next adjourned date, the committee and the Parliament should invoke its powers and recommend their removal from office. Still talking about the role the National House of Assembly plays in overseeing the affairs of certain agencies, departments, and ministries. You know, I'm sure we've been hearing about the smuggling issue and the border closure and being closed and not closed and all of that. Well, quickly, I'd love to get your thoughts concerning this, the fact that the House of Rep invited the 2 different bosses, the custom officer and the immigration, you know, to get an investigative hearing about the whole LCU has actually been going on, and none of them, you know, came up. Do you think there's something, you know, that has not, you know, been put out? Is there something that we should be asking? Are we supposed to be asking questions why none of them decided to, you know, accept the invitation that was given to them by the National House of Assembly?
Well, you know, there's a popular African proverb that says that when a snake loses its venom, you know, they use it as rope to tie firewood, you know. I think that's why some of these heads of department agencies of government are taking our lawmakers for granted, you know. We're in this country where a certain minister, I think the Minister for Social Welfare or so Humanitarian Affairs, was invited. And at a point, as she was being interrogated, she got angry.
And walked away. And
she said she's going to leave, that they don't have the right to, you know, to ask her such questions. You know, so these are the issues. That was why I said, until we begin to see some level of seriousness in our lawmakers while carrying out their oversight function, you know, we'll continue to be hearing this kind of stories. But then again, if you want to look at it on a more critical note, you know, that you invited the head of the immigration and customs, and you know, persons came to maybe represent them. You know, these are individuals, they could be directors and all of that, head of departments, that feels they have the knowledge of what is going on there. I'm also, you know, of the opinion that you know, they could have still, you know, engaged those people, because it is when the information that they need, those people, you know, could not provide, that is when it should become a problem. Let it not be that, oh, we have other engagements and we had to send people to represent us. I'm sure what they needed to know are, you know, the day-to-day runnings of the agency, and like they said, you know, issues that borders on what they call it, digital system in securing our borders. These are very important issues. I'm aware recently somebody came out to say that our borders, you know, are very porous, and I'm sure it's not even coming as a new thing to some of us.
Because we were actually told that the borders were closed.
Yeah, we don't even have defined borders that will, you know, point to and say this is our borders that is, you know, manned by our people. If you go to some part of the north, some part even of the in the southwest. Even in South, in Cross River State, for instance, we have towns that are border towns that, you know, you have influx of activities,
going
people going and
forth.
come out and all of that. They are, you know, they are not being checked and all of that. And we are complaining of the high security, you know, challenges that we're having in this country. So this is a very serious matter. That's why I said that, you know, the committee that is saddled with this all-important responsibility could not go ahead with that probe. For me, is quite, you know, it's satisfactory and you know, embarrassing, because if we cannot, you know, sit down to discuss the issues, especially that has to do with security, that has to do with bringing in of adulterated products, poisons and all of that, arms and ammunition, if we cannot take it seriously as a people, I wonder what we'll take seriously in this country.
Thank you, that was fast. Quickly, Ayotamano. Mr. Ayotamano, I'll call you Mr. Ayotamano.
All right.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Okay to say that?
Yeah, first...
well, I actually wanted to ask you a particular question. Do you think there was an ulterior motive for those heads not to attend the investigative hearing they were invited for? Because if we have plans to make the country a better place, all of us want to make sure that it's actually functioning, and then we're working towards it. You know, when need arises, we want to put heads together and make sure, you know, something is actually done about it. You know, coming from the custom officers and the generals and the immigration general not adhering to the invitation, do you think something was actually wrong there?
Well, from the reports, it's not that they did not honor. They did not honor in person.
In person, yes. But they were supposed to be there in person.
They sent their representatives.
There's something they talk about hearing from the horse's mouth.
I'm coming. The representatives were not seen to be good enough.
Okay.
To the legislators.
Okay.
Because they wanted the person on whose table the buck stops to actually come forward. And if there's any, of course, if there's anything that could be said in terms of improving efficiency, in terms of collection of revenues, these are two very important agencies. One, while we look at the issue of the migrative or the movement of people in and out of the country, the other talks about the movement of goods and services in and out of the country, export, imports. And so we are also talking about the issue of revenue. Of course, the customs, they have their targets. Immigration also has its own targets. And you know how it's been practiced for some time now. They give you a target. At the end of the day, if you're able to meet that target, you deduct the administrative costs, operational costs, and then you pay. So, like he said, like Mufasa said, he said, we need to look at it. Are we prioritizing? The same question that we had on Jan
yes.
also comes in here. What is our priority? But let me also say that two major organizations are involved, and we are talking about one minister. Because the story had it that Tunji Ojo, the Minister of Interior, he was not in the country and so couldn't have attended. But the last time I checked, I think Customs is under the Ministry of Finance. Customs is supposed to be under the Ministry of Finance. I'm surprised that heads of those agencies are being invited on a very crucial investigative hearing, or not investigative hearing, budget defense or whatever it is, investigative hearing without the Minister of Finance. Perhaps since everybody is talking about budgets, he's also very busy with his planning and budget counterparts.
Okay.
Having said that,
Ministry of Finance, that should be Wale Edun, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, he has actually been invited. And then he said he wanted to get closed door conversation and not, you know, in the public. And we don't know the reason why he's saying that.
He has no place. He doesn't have that authority to decide that.
He said he wanted a closed door communication.
And it was granted.
It was granted. So the question is, why would he ask for closed door, you know, communication with the committee and not in the open?
Well, closed door also, you can ask for it if the question that you were asked, you know, some of these things might need technical.
But this is what everybody wants to hear. Well, if they did not want the press to actually get to know about whatever conversation they were having, thinking out loud.
I also believe that it was out of respect, because he could as well have said he's not prepared. But it's not as if he, you know, there are some of these things that if you allow it, at the end of the day, it becomes a media hype or it becomes a media trial.
Oh, well.
So the fact that he asked for, he was taken aback by some of the questions that were asked. And that was why he asked for, so that he'll be more equipped.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then to give them,
that isn't your thoughts for him.
Yes, there could be some sensitive information.
Okay.
It could be a matter of preparation.
Okay.
And how technical those things are. It could be that let us have a session while we are preparing for that session. We'll get some additional material, some additional information on that subject matter. So the National Assembly, within their constitutional rights or their constitutional powers, have actually said, okay, let's suspend this matter for now. We need your heads, your principals. We need them to actually come forward. So I think it's somewhat a compromise. Okay. But what we believe is that it has to be in national interest.
Okay, so we should just be waiting for the second sitting to see if they will acknowledge it, because National Assembly actually wants them to come in person and not have a representative.
Yes.
So we'll just wait for the second sitting to see if
you can be sure that at the second sitting they will come.
Okay.
And if they fail to come,
if they fail to come, there are constitutional provisions.
Yes,
how many people that we have seen that have dishonored these National Assembly members and we saw them being penalized.
You know that
we are yet to see any.
The Constitution is very clear on some of these things. You know, I don't want to go into some other areas. In your explanation, you actually gave an African parable. And which I'm not going to contest. Of course, we have had investigative hearings. Of course, the power sector reform hearing. You know, you saw how complicated
and at the end of the day it was.
Yes.
It went
at the end of the day, you saw how it went. Yeah. You also saw the Arumote.
Yes.
When she was in charge of the stock exchange.
Yes.
You also saw how that one went.
As it went.
So there used to be a quotation by one of our military officers. He said, when you allow yourself to be insulted, others will join you. So if you allow yourself,
thank you so much.
Yes, if you allow yourself to be insulted, others will join you. But that does not mean that they have the right to compel any person at all to appear.
They did not compel them. They were in.
No, but they have
the right to issue warrants.
Yes, now
to issue warrant, and the security organizations must execute that warrant.
Exactly.
And also, they have, if you go to that section 89, it's very clear that apart from issuing the warrant, whatever it takes to bring you, the cost of bringing you there, that they can also cause you to pay for that cost. So our constitution is very clear on some of these matters. Okay. And I believe that at the next hearing, that
they will come. Thank you so much.